via VON Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Monday, May 13, 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, Glenroy Samuel granted bail for the attempted murder of Raheem Francis, and Nevis's premier says SKN would welcome a culinary school. Regionally, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' first geothermal power plant underway. Internationally, Sri Lanka imposes curfew amid anti-Muslim violence, and in sports, Nevis's top primary school athletes awarded. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. Glenroy Samuel of Connery Village, St. Kitts was granted bail on May 10, 2019. His bail comes following charges for the offense of attempted murder for an incident which took place on April 20, 2019 at Warner Park. He was bailed in the sum of $50,000 with two sureties with the conditions that 1. No contact should be made with the virtual complainant, 2. He is to surrender all travel documents, and 3. Report to the Bastia Police Station twice weekly. He is set to appear at the Bastia Magistrate Court on July 1, 2019. On the said evening at approximately 10 p.m., Samuel, who plays for Connery FC, reportedly stabbed Raheem Francis of St. Johnson Village and who plays for Rams Village Superstars in the abdomen with a knife, then fled the scene in a vehicle. Francis was taken to the JNF General Hospital, where he was rushed into surgery and was warded in a critical condition. Samuel has since been banned by the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, pending the outcome of the case. Nevis's Premier, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Mark Brantley, has welcomed the idea of a culinary school in St. Kitts and Nevis. This comes as Minister Brantley paid a visit to the Kai Ping Culinary School on May 9, 2019 to explore the possibilities for cooperation in the area of hospitality. This was also a quest to seek out opportunities for investing in the youth in St. Kitts and Nevis. During the visit, Premier Brantley invited the owner of the school to consider building a similar school in the Federation. Kai Ping Culinary School was founded in 1966 and caters to high school students from 15 to 18 years old. It has 3 programs which comprise of culinary arts, culinary night program, and an international bridge program. The student population is around 1,500. It offers 3 majors: Chinese cuisine, Western cuisine, and bakery and pastry, and 3 tracks: creative, internship, and externship. Reports of an object falling into the waters of St. Kitts has been put to rest by law enforcement authorities here in St. Kitts and Nevis. An image circulating around social media sites in the Federation last week depicted a white object material falling out of the sky. Public Relations Officer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, Major Coyote Sutton, noted that the authorities, upon following up, cannot substantiate the claim.
Coast Guard assets was deployed to patrol around the area, and on getting to the area, there was nothing that was sighted. It appeared as though that perhaps an aircraft that was flying very close to sector stations might have probably dumped a little bit of fuel because it was something that looked whitish. That's what the information that we got and the Coast Guard responded to. Of course, the Coast Guard was actually on patrol duty, so they just went to the area. Some whitish stuff in the sky, which looks like maybe when our aircraft dumps into excess fuel for whatever reason, but nothing was found. And this incident did not occur close to the shores of St. Kitts. By the way, it was closer to Central Stations.
He also reiterated the force's position in maintaining the safety of the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
We are the protector of the people. We have the responsibility, is our mandate, to ensure the security of the territorial seas and the coastal areas of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we responded to that. We did not see anything to substantiate what the claim was. And I guess, yes, based on that, the general public can be rest assured that they have capable hands out there who are dedicated to the security of the Federation. And we continue to do that.
Public Relations Officer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, Major Coyote Sutton. 15 workers at the St. Kitts Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, have been appointed as litter wardens. This comes following the presentation of appointment letters by Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mr. Ivan Hanley. During a general staff meeting at the corporation's headquarters in Taylor's Range, Assistant General Manager of the SWMC, Ms. Candice Keynes, said that the General Manager had sought the approval from the Minister for 16 new persons within the corporation to be gazetted as litter wardens. The individuals are as follows: Ivor Keithley Phillip, Jermaine Pringle, Lexington Bedford, Jamila Christopher, Randolph Brown, Anita Lake, Valentine Heiliger, Desiree Grant, Leighton Ramsey, Jacqueline Taylor, Candice Keynes, Mauricia Fifield, Sylvester Watley, Ivanka James, and Vance Beach. The litter wardens will receive their official instrument from the minister responsible for the SWMC, Mr. Eugene Hamilton, at a later date. In more national news,
we've had some new job numbers that we've had from Social Security, and I just wanted to share with you, the members of the press and with the public, that those numbers tell us that in the year 2017, the island of Nevis had 367 new registrants for Social Security, and that jumped to 475 new registrants in 2018. We also had 57 self-employed registrations, new registrations in 2017, and that increased to 67 self-employed registrations in 2018.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. Mr. Brantley was at the time providing statistics with regards to jobs here on Nevis. He also mentioned why the aforementioned was significant.
It's important because I've learned from Social Security that they only register people who have a job, that you cannot get registered to Social Security unless you have proof of employment. And so these numbers give us a very good idea of what the employment looks like and how it is trending in relation to the island of Nevis specifically.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. A man has been charged in relation to the aircraft that landed at the RLB International Airport in St. Kitts with suspected items. Alcibiades David of California was arrested by the Anti-Narcotics Unit at the RLB International Airport on May 9, 2019 on 3 warrants. David was charged for possession with intent to supply, possession of controlled drugs, and importation of a controlled drug into the Federation. According to a police press release, this was in connection with an investigation launched on May 7, 2019 into the circumstances surrounding material suspected to be cannabis on a private aircraft. He appeared at the Bastille Magistrate Court on May 10th and was granted bail with conditions for the offenses. The conditions were a cash bail of $30,000 to be paid forthwith, a sum of $50,000 with 2 sureties. He was ordered to surrender all travel documents and ordered to report to the Frigate Bay Police Station daily. David is expected to appear at the Bastille Magistrate Court on Tuesday, May 14th. In more national news, Jamal Slack of Upper Fines Avenue, St. Kitts, was granted bail on May 9th after being charged for the offense of grievous bodily harm, which was committed on Friday, May 3rd. The offense is in relation to a report made by a male who had an altercation with Slack in which the male sustained injuries to his knee and a broken foot. He was bailed in the sum of $50,000 with 2 sureties. Additionally, the conditions are that no contact should be made and he is to stay 100 feet away from the virtual complainant. He is to surrender all travel documents and report to the Bastia police station twice weekly. Slack is set to appear at the Bastia Magistrate Court on Monday, July 1st. During last Wednesday's edition of the Working for You program, the topic free movement of people within the Caribbean Basin was discussed. This is also in relation to the Caribbean Single Market and Economy, CSME. CSME is an arrangement among CARICOM states for the creation of a single enlarged economic space through the removal of restrictions resulting in the free movement of goods, services, people, capital, and technology. Individuals with skill certificates are free to move between these member states and work. There are currently 10 categories of movers in the skill category area. Trade Policy Officer at the Department of Trade is Ms. Lindis Harris.
We have, first of all, the university graduates, and that category of movers, they are allowed to work in any field they wish to. So as a university graduate, you can work in any field. We have the media person category, we have sports persons, there's also a category for teachers and nurses. Those university graduates, they would have acquired like a trained teacher certificate or, the basic nursing certificate. There's also a category for associate degree holders. And the associate degree category speaks to a comparable qualification as well. So persons who would have had a post-secondary training for at least 2 years, they would also qualify. There's also a category for artisans with a Caribbean vocational qualification. So these are the skilled persons such as welders, contractors, and those kind of persons. So those are the persons who are qualified, and of course artists and musicians.
She added that there are a number of documents required to apply for the skilled certificate.
For university graduates, of course, they're required to have at least a bachelor's degree and upward. And for the other categories, for example, such as the artists, musicians, and so forth, they just need to provide proof that they would have been serving in their specific fields for a period of time, because there isn't always certification for these courses. Of course, if there's certification, persons can feel free to submit those as well.
Trade Policy Officer at the Department of Trade is Ms. Lindis Harris. The third session of Open House Mosquito Awareness Sessions will be held on Monday, May 13th at the Brownhill Community Center at 4:30 p.m. The sessions are being hosted by the Environmental Health Services Division here on Nevis and are in keeping with the observance of Mosquito Awareness Week 2019, which was held from May 6 to May 12 under the theme Fight the Bite. The sessions are geared towards persons who are having problems with mosquitoes. Meantime, Senior Environmental Health Officer Mr. Javier Utley provided an explanation about the observance.
Over time, there have been a trend where we've been having all these diseases, and we tend to pick it up, as we say, during the rainy season. Paho and Kafa. Notice these trends that every year you will have these diseases emerging, and sometimes you get more than some, or some months. And what happens is that they decided to come together and give a week designated just to mosquito awareness.
Senior Environmental Health Officer Mr. Javier Utley. Finally, a sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly has been scheduled for Tuesday, May 21st. This will be the second sitting for 2019. The first sitting was held on Thursday, February 28th, and at that time, Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley introduced and read a first time the Nevis International Exempt Ordinance 2019. It will be held at the Assembly's chambers at the Hamilton House in Charlestown. The sitting will commence at 10 a.m. The proceedings will be carried live here on Vaughan Radio. That's it for the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Chief Executive Officer CEO of Reykjavik Geothermal, Gudmundur Thoroddson, an Icelander, spoke about the benefits of geothermal energy while standing in the area where this country has started drilling under the direction of St. Vincent Geothermal Company Limited, which is owned by the Icelandic company Reykjavik Geothermal and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The CEO stressed that geothermal energy makes a huge difference when compared with paying for fossil fuel to produce energy because of the volatility of oil prices. He said that the drilling plant called Odin may not look like much, but it is capable of drilling over 2,500 meters, and the project at the drill site will see 600 pounds of cement being used, while over 3,000 cubic meters of material will be removed to make the wells. But while Thoroddson spoke about the positive effects of geothermal energy on the economy, he failed to mention the challenges which such activity have brought to his country, including reports of sulfur pollution and earthquakes close to geothermal sites. The SVG publication Searchlight reached out to a regional geologist who said it is not unusual for there to be seismic activity in areas where geothermal energy is being exploited. In the wake of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves' exclamations that Liat closure is imminent, he has expressed optimism that Liat is not going anywhere anytime soon. Gonsalves, who is also the chairman of Liat Shareholder Governments, said last week, "We are going to be all right." The chairman's remarks was based on the decision by some regional governments who have provided financial aid to the cash-strapped airline. Liat needs US $5.4 million to keep it in the air. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chastney said last week that Castries will not contribute any funds unless there's a significant change to the airline structure. Meantime, the Antigua and Barbuda government has made a formal offer to Barbados to acquire its shares in the cash-strapped regional airline Liat. A statement issued following the weekly cabinet meeting said that Prime Minister Gaston Brown indicated to the cabinet members that he has written to Prime Minister Mia Mottley on the Liat restructuring plan. According to stlucianewsonline.com, the brief statement said that an offer was made for Antigua and Barbuda to acquire the Liat shares owned by Barbados through a takeover of the liability of Barbados to the Caribbean Development Bank. Last Friday, Attorney General Stedroy Benjamin said that St. John's was prepared to purchase the shares owned by the Barbados government. In Jamaica, Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says Jamaica experienced the best winter season in its history, welcoming in the first 4 months of the year 1.7 million visitors who spent US $1.25 billion. Bartlett further noted that the tourism industry has achieved record growth in the last 3 consecutive years, which has surpassed our aspirational average growth of 5% per annum. The minister said this notable performance is against the background of the 2013 to 2015 period, during which Jamaica experienced an incremental growth of about 120,000 visitors. Finally, in the Cayman Islands, the public sector's $216.8 million budget surplus in the first quarter of 2019 was $44.4 million higher than estimated, the Ministry of Finance said on Friday. In addition, government had more cash in the bank, with $747.1 million in cash and deposits during the period that ended on 30th March. The higher surplus and larger bank balances were influenced by both higher revenues and lower expenditures. Total public sector revenues of $373.7 million were about $30.7 million higher than expected. At the same time, government spent $3.5 million less on civil service personnel costs than budgeted. Purchases of supplies and consumable goods and services fell $8.8 million below the budgeted amount, and the performance of investment revenues was also more favorable than predicted. According to the Cayman Compass finance minister, he was pleased that the first quarter results had exceeded budget expectations and was grateful to the civil service for its contribution in saving government money. The unaudited quarterly financial report was published in the Gazette on Friday. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Sri Lanka has imposed a nighttime curfew across the country amid an upsurge in anti-Muslim violence. Mosques and Muslim-owned shops have been targeted, but there were no reports of casualties. In several towns, police fired into the air and used tear gas to disperse hundreds of rioters. Tensions have been high since Islamist militants attacked churches and hotels on Easter Sunday, killing more than 250 people. The Prime Minister has appealed for calm, saying the current unrest was hampering the investigation into last month's attack in the early hours of Monday. The 7-hour curfew will take place from 9 p.m. local time. A Norwegian shipping company says one of its vessels was damaged off the coast of the United Arab Emirates on Sunday, when several other ships were reportedly the target of sabotage operations. Earlier, the Saudi government condemned the damage sustained by 2 of its oil tankers. Iran has described the reports as worrying. The BBC's Alan Johnson reports.
The big picture is the Americans are putting the Iranian economy under immense pressure. They've recently ramped up their sweeping sanctions on Iran, and in the last 10 days, the Americans have talked of believing that the Iranians may be planning some sort of attack. They've reinforced their military in the area. Against that background, this mysterious affair, 4 ships apparently being targeted, it's grabbed the world's imagination, and you can bet that at this moment everybody involved in the business of Gulf security will be poring over this.
Swedish prosecutors have reopened an investigation into a rape allegation made against WikiLeaks co-founder Julian Assange in 2010. The inquiry has been revived at the request of the alleged victim's lawyer. Assange, who denies the accusation, has avoided extradition to Sweden for 7 years after seeking refuge at the Ecuadorian embassy in London in 2012. Sweden's deputy chief prosecutor says she will start court proceedings today with the view of extraditing Mr. Assange when he is released in Britain from a 50-week jail sentence for breaching his bail conditions. Mr. Assange's lawyer, P.E. Samuelson, said he was surprised by the move.
I think it is wrong to put this burden on him now when he is in prison in the UK and he is risking to be extradited to the United States. To put this burden on top of that load is unreasonable, and I'm highly surprised and critical that the Swedish prosecutors did decide to reopen this old pre-investigation.
Mr. Assange is currently being held at Belmarsh Prison in London. Finally, a group of U.S. consumers have been given the go-ahead by the Supreme Court to sue Apple over app prices. The iPhone users argue that there is no alternative place to buy an iPhone app, but that Apple takes a 30% commission on every sale, so therefore they are being overcharged. They claim that this puts Apple in breach of antitrust laws. Apple said that it was an agent for app developers and that it neither owned nor sold the apps itself. However, while app developers set their own prices, Apple collects the payments. One of the judges who ruled against Apple was President Donald Trump's controversial appointment, Brett Kavanaugh. That brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
The month of May is the month of change, and it is time to revolutionize the way you copy, scan, and print with a new Canon printer from the TDC Business Center and City Drugstore Nevis Limited. Trade in your old printer and get 25% off a brand new Canon printer in any model and 15% off each Canon printer ink you buy. Plus, enjoy specials on selected models that'll have you saving even more. May is Canon month. Visit the TDC Business Center and City Drugstore Nevis Limited for more details.
Welcome back, and now the sports in detail. In local sports, Friday 10th May was a very significant day in the lives of some of the top primary school athletes on the island. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mr. Kevin Barrett, made his rounds to several schools and presented each athlete with a trophy and a check. The schools and athletes were Joycelyn Libert Primary, Jorick Daniel Class Champion Grade 5 Boys, and Joint Victor Ladorum Ivor Walters Primary, Leon Thompson Jr. Class Champion Grade 4 Boys, and Joint Victor Ladorum Maud Cross Preparatory, Zane Underwood Class Champion Grade 3 Girls, and Joint Victories Ladorum Charleston Primary, Letitia Bailey Class Champion Grade 6 Girls, and Joint Victories Ladorum St. Thomas's Primary, Adrian Wilkin Class Champion Grade 5, and Joint Victor Ladorum and the VOJN Primary received the runner-up trophy in the B Division. Meantime, the Bath United Under-17 team participated in the annual Willful Skillful Under-17 football tournament in St. Martin during the weekend. In Game 1, they drew with the defending champions, Solia FC from Dutch St. Martin. In Game 2, Bath United defeated St. Louis Stars of French St. Martin 4-2. Goal scorers Dejal Myers, Jermaine Bartlett, Theon Queally, and Kinasi Dorset. Finally, in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians won a record 4th Indian Premier League title after they beat Chennai Super Kings by a single run in a dramatic finish. Mumbai set Chennai a target of 150 after hitting 149 for 8 from 20 overs, with Kieron Pollard top scoring with 41. Mumbai's victory also denied Chennai a 4th title and the chance of retaining the Indian Premier League after winning the 2018 edition, their first since a 2-year ban for their part in a corruption scandal. West Indies batsman Pollard unbeaten 41 off 25 balls alongside Quinton de Kock's 29 helped set up the Mumbai total. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. And now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. A relatively dry and stable air mass will restrict rainfall activities across the area. Weather tonight mainly fair. Winds east at 19 to 28 kilometers per hour or 10 to 15 knots. Seas 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. And sunrise tomorrow is at 5:39 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, May 13th, 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Glenroy Samuel granted bail for the attempted murder of Raheem Francis, and Nevis's premier says SKN would welcome a culinary school. Regionally, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' first geothermal power plant on the way. Internationally, Sri Lanka imposes curfew amid anti-Muslim violence. And in sports, Nevis's top primary school athletes awarded. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a pleasant evening.